Hey there, Wranglers. Today we're going to talk about the time I almost got thrown out of a bar for doing cold reading. And I'm going to explain all the steps and what happened to you and to me and everything. But first, housekeeping. Like and subscribe. Join me on Babblegab on Tuesday nights. There'll be a link, and then I have a new project coming up that I'll invite you to when it's ready. And we'll get back underway with the subject here. Cold reading. So, how I almost got thrown out of a bar for cold reading one night. What is cold reading? A lot of you already probably know what it is, but what it is when you sit down with a person and you talk with them, and you're a lot of times it's done by phony psychics to make a person believe that the psychic is talking to their dead relative or something along those lines, and uh, basically it's sort of a type of phony mediumship, I guess you would say. And I'm not sure if there's real mediums or not. I really don't know. But this is what happened one night. I was sitting at a bar with a friend of mine and my best friend, and we like to go there and we like to play those trivia boxes they used to have. I don't know if they still have them or not. I haven't been to a place like that in a decade or so, but they have we played the trivia box and hang out and all that kind of stuff. And a friend of his comes up and sits down, and she's this young girl, maybe in her 20s, and well, she is in her 20s, early to mid 20s, and we get to talking about cold reading, and we do a few stupid bar magic tricks that he and I had worked out together just for fun. And then when the subject of cold reading came up, now the bar magic tricks had nothing to do with cold reading; they were just simple bar tricks. And so anyway, the subject of cold reading came up, and I said, "Yeah, I can do." And I basically said, I can do this. And I didn't say I was going to be a medium or anything legit. I said, I can show you another trick. It's called cold reading. And they were curious, and I explained to them what I'm going to do. I said, I'm going to cold read, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to work with her. So I look at her. She's a young girl. She's in her mid 20s, early to mid 20s. So I'm thinking, um, she probably is curious to have this done because she might have had somebody pass recently. This is my logic. And since she's that age, it's most likely a grandfather. Men tend to live less long or sh- shorter lives than women. If she was in her 30s, I would go for a grandmother. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and I said, oh, okay, so I see that someone close to you has passed. And she's like, yeah, okay. And I said, I have a feeling it was your grandfather. And she was like, yeah. And my best friend's kind of looking at me. I said, okay. And I stopped and I did, a lot of it's performance. Okay. It's performance. So I said, let me think here a second, or let me tap in or something, or let me pull into the netherworld, as it were. And I said, okay, the grandfather left you something, didn't he? And she's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Now, the logic of cold reading, of course he left her something. She's beautiful young granddaughter. He's going to have something memento to pass on to her. Most grandparents do. So she's like, yeah. So I'm sitting there thinking, and I said, I'm looking, what I'm seeing right now is a mantle, like above a fireplace, a mantle. And I just took it. That was a wild guess on my part, a mantle. A lot of houses have them. She goes, okay, and then she's affirming it. Yeah, okay, okay. And I said, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell can you put on a mantle? Candlesticks, all kinds of crap. You can put anything up there. But I just had an image in my head of a clock. And I said, he left you a clock to put on the mantle. And her eyes got this fucking big. And my friend, she looked at me and said, that is not cool. My best friend is mad at me now because that's not cool. And she's like, she starts to tear up. And I'm like, she's like, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm trying to back. He goes, that's not cool, man. Don't do that. Don't do it. I'm like, I told you it was I'm not doing anything. It's a trick. And he's like, he was like, mad. And the bartender's like, what's going on? And I said, it's just we were doing tricks and something got a little out of hand here. And she was teared up. And so I stopped it. I said, is this a trick? I don't know this. This is a trick. This is just what happened. I told her, I explained a little bit. She just kind of didn't want to hear it. I guess she went to the bathroom and got herself together, and she came back. And after that, everything was had simmered down. I wasn't gonna, the bartender wasn't that concerned. And I'm sitting with my best friend, and he just kept reminding me that it's not cool to do that. And I'm like, okay, I agree. I did not mean to upset anybody, and I didn't want to did not want to cause any problem. That's how powerful cold reading can be. Okay, you just start. It's a steps. It's logical steps. What you see, what you want, what you the age of the person, that kind of thing. If they had somebody pass or not. Usually, if they want you to do cold reading, it's something because 99% of the time it's somebody who's passed on. Might be something else. Sometimes they want you to find stuff or whatever, and that's I do that with my wife all the time, but I don't call it cold reading. I just say, "This is where I saw you," and then I saw you with this, and I said, "Now go look over there," and then sure enough, she'll find it. That has nothing to do with cold reading. It's just watching what she does. Anyway, this really happened, okay, and I did it. I've done it several times, and then I did it. I did do it with my wife when I first met her. Her father had died, and I knew that, and I said, I'm looking at the room, and in my mind here, and I'm just picturing, I don't know, some room. And I said, okay, he's laying in the bed, and there's a window to the left of him, and this and that. She was like, yeah. And she's like, and she's affirming everything. She's not freaked out. She's affirming it. And I said, he's laying there in that bed. It's a smaller room, but it's nice. And she's like, yeah, yeah. And the windows on this side and all that. And I say, dark colored blanket or something along those lines. And she's like, oh, yeah, yeah. So I got that right too. And I said, and I told her, I said flat out, it's a trick. I said, it's a cold reading trick. She was, well, how do you know you're not really psychic and you're not really picking up on this? I said, well, I'm pretty sure I don't, because this is my technique is just deduction, or not even deduction or, assumption. Oh yeah, I'm going to call it assumption. It's not a deduction, it's assumption. And she goes, well, I don't know. She goes, you might really be plugged in. And I'm like, okay, if I'm plugged in, I'm plugged in. I don't know. But that is cold reading, and it can be very powerful. I don't do it that often. I don't like to do it. Now I've struck out a few times when I've done it too. And especially when you get somebody who's honoring, they're going to start telling you no, no, no. But and that's fine. Or, because you know those people that, they're going to be, I don't know how you say it. They're contrarians no matter what. And they're hard. Some people are just hard to pull any tricks on. They don't, they come into a deceit. They get involved in a magic trick to foil the magic trick, to figure it out. They don't get involved to just be lay back and be entertained. And the best audience is the one that wants to be entertained and is not trying to pick and pull things apart. Maybe even if they do pick and pull things apart, sometimes they do it because it's fun for them, not because they have a mean spirit, but they're just like they're so fascinated by the process. They went, oh, like this is how the magician does it. That's how. Anyway, okay, enough of that. So that's this. I've struck out a few times as well. So that's no big deal. Either way is fine with me. It's only for entertainment value, just like my show. But that ought to give you some insight on cold reading and how I almost got kicked out of a bar. And I want you to be wary of these. A lot of these television psychics used to do that, but they were even worse about it. They even had earpieces in their ear, and they had people fill out cards before they came and sat down, and then they would uh, literally have somebody reading the cards and talking to them in their earpiece. So it was like scary accurate, but it was all set up. It was ridiculous. If you're filling out a card when you go to someplace, you can be damn well sure that information is going to make it to the performer. And also, there used to be some guy, John something, that used to go on and talk to the dead or whatever. And you see the outtakes of his show. His show was on for like an hour block or whatever, or half an hour. I don't know what it was. I don't remember. But you see them filming the damn thing, and it'd take 4 or 5 hours to film it because he'd go around and he'd get so many wrong hits that they could only edit in the good hits. And that's literally how they made the show. And that's part of the thing, and if you're getting a wrong hit, you say something like, "Oh, I'm feeling blocked. Something's blocking me, or the person doesn't want to communicate. I'm not finding anything." You can make up all kinds of mumbo jumbo to say why you can't make the reading, and sometimes that even sells it better than getting it right all the time. Because it means he's human. It means he's not. He's fallible. This must be real because he's admitting that he can't do it right now. Sometimes that works in their favor. Now, the that's one of the biggest things there. But I was trying to think of one other thing I wanted to mention to you, and I'm drawing a blank on it. But yeah. Anyway, that's cold reading, and I keep saying that over and over again. And you can try it if you want, see how far it gets you. And remember playing Jeopardy, RSTLNE, whatever the Jeopardy letters are. Most names are going to start with that too. So you can always use Jeopardy to, if they want you to find the name, like, oh, I'm getting an R name, I'm getting a S name. Those are pretty common, and see what happens, and and you go from there. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my adventures in cold reading and weird ass bar tricks and tricks you can play on your friend. I have a lot of them that I used to play, and maybe I'll show you one day. They're real simple and they're real fun, and you just got to It's all preparation and it's all theater. I didn't do a lot of theater today, but you can really build the tension. You can really build the excitement. You can become something beyond human. And when you get them believing that, they'll believe just about anything. And one of the most powerful cold reading techniques is you let them do all the talking. Seriously, you ask them just a couple questions and they'll start talking. When they leave that appointment, they will think that you were able to know everything about them and psychically tune into them and their situation and all that. And you will have barely said 3 words, but they will be convinced when they leave there that you said it all, that you did all that. And that's one of the funniest and coolest cold reading techniques I've ever seen done. So anyway, take care, Wranglers, and we'll talk about more stuff later. I've got 2 other cases I'm researching right now. One's I'm waiting on a friend to get back to me with some info, and the other one is I'll be filling out my Isdal woman stuff from a comment from a good comment from a listener. So thank you. Keep me honest, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.